So I decided to go to college in Colorado for a really silly reason, which is in the summers of my childhood, we went to Colorado and we'd go backpacking. My dad would catch fish and my mom would fry the fish and my dad would tell us stories in the tent. And I loved it. And so I was comfortable doing it. Nothing bad had ever happened backpacking. So because I had chosen such a remote school, or school so far from Newton, Massachusetts, I was the only student from my high school to go there my year anyway. And I didn't know anyone, which was part of the appeal. I got to start again, like entirely fresh and anonymous. And that was kind of thrilling. Like I could reinvent myself, I thought, and be whoever. People only know about you what you show them of yourself. And I could just be confident. And I'd always been quiet, and I could blossom there without any associations from the past, I thought. On my second day, before classes had begun, I was raped by another freshman in my dorm room. I'll call him Junior. It's not his name. Earlier in the night, we'd been kissing, and I'd actually wanted him to kiss me. I thought he was cute. Like we were just loving our freedom and our feeling so reckless and not really adults yet in many ways. When the movie ended, my neighbor left and Junior stayed, and like I told him, basically it was like awkward eventually, and I was like, okay, bye. But he didn't leave. He started pulling on I was wearing like pink button-up shorts, and he was pulling on my shorts, and I told him, slow down. Like I had just lost my virginity, and I knew that I didn't want to have casual sex again. Like I tried that, and it wasn't good for me. I guess it didn't even like really like cross my mind that he might have sex with me when I didn't want him to at that point, or I would have been much more assertive. But I still sort of liked him, which made me feel ashamed for a really long time, like as if wanting to be kissed mitigated the fault of his felony. He didn't slow down, and he actually pulled my shorts off without unbuttoning them and broke the button off, and I remember the sound of the button hitting the linoleum floor. I told him to stop it, but like very quiet, like I didn't physically fight him or anything. To admit to yourself that you've been raped is really, really hard. To admit to yourself that you've been raped is to admit to yourself that your life is forever changed, and it's not something that most people feel prepared to do. And when I reported the rape to the college, I testified, and the boy testified, and the mediator found him to be innocent, which meant that they didn't believe me and that I was guilty of lying. I felt exiled. They allowed him to remain on campus. And I would see him in the elevator, and I would see him in the hallways, and I would see him outside, and I would see him in the stairwell, and I just didn't feel safe where I lived in my home. I realized at that point that my school was not going to help me, and I had to help myself, and I had to leave this place. And so I did. Really, the rape allowed me to say, I'm going to do what I want now, and I'm going to trust myself, and I know that I can't be here, and I'm going to honor that. My dad dropped me off and left me at Mexico's edge at the southern terminus of the 2,650-mile-long Pacific Crest Trail, and I was there alone, and all I felt was, finally, like, to me, a desert wilderness seemed like the safest place at that point. I was fleeing the world of of frat boys and men. Like, I was thinking that I would just, I could not navigate this world, and so I'd leave it. But what I didn't realize at the time was that 400 people attempt to hike the Pacific Crest Trail each year, and about 9 out of every 10 are men. So I'd fled the world of college into a world of men. Like, I was a girl alone in the woods, surrounded by stranger men. And though that had not been my hope or intention, it turned out to be a huge blessing, because it was a very specific sort of form of immersion therapy wherein I needed to make my boundaries clear, and I needed to say no, and I needed to again and again and again communicate. And again and again and again, I found that men respected what I said, and that my voice was audible. And if I said I didn't want something, people did not push it. And the experience of hiking the PCT amid so many other male hikers really renewed my faith in strangers and in people, and made me realize that rape is not normal, and it's not okay.